You ever notice how conscious communities look beautiful on the outside, but sometimes leave people hurt, confused, and questioning their sanity than actually healing? There's a reason for that. And nobody wants to talk about it. We talk a lot about conscious community, about healing, about unity, about sacred sexuality, and brotherhood and sisterhood. But there's a shadow running underneath a lot of what we're building. A shadow not many of us want to talk about because it challenges the whole aesthetic, the whole high vibe, love and light narrative. In Jamie Wheel's book, Recapture Rapture, he talked about something that really hit me like a truth bomb. He broke down the three types of friendships that happen in these spaces. And when I really sat with this, I realized that's exactly why people are getting hurt. This is why people are feeling unsafe. This is why communities are collapsing into drama, trauma, and really ethical cult dynamics. And honestly, it's time we name it. The first type of relationship Wheel talks about is the transactional one. These are relationships based on utility. I'm around you because I get something out of it. And this is where a lot of event leaders, facilitators, tantric guides, and festival organizers actually live, though they rarely admit it because many of them aren't actually community leaders. They're entrepreneurs. They're running a business. They're selling tickets. They're monetizing your longing for connection, healing, and belonging. And here's the kicker. We call them leaders because they throw events. But Wheel makes it clear in traditional culture, you didn't become a leader because you were charismatic or popular or because you could rent a venue. You became a leader because you went through rites of passage, because you were tested, because elders assessed your integrity, your humility, and your capacity to hold power. Today, we hand the microphone to whoever has the loudest branding, whoever can DJ, whoever can talk about masculine and feminine dynamics with a sultry voice, whoever knows how to sell the experience. And the consequences are real. Because when trauma comes up, when conflict arises, when someone disassociates or gets triggered in an ecstatic space, these leaders don't know what they're doing. And people get hurt. Then Wheel talks about the heathenistic relationships. And this is honestly the heart of the shadow I want to name. A heathenistic friendship lasts as long as it feels good, as long as it's fun, as long as the vibes are high, as long as you're going to ecstatic dances together, tantric parties, breathwork journeys, cacao ceremonies, psychedelic activations, whatever the next dopamine roller coaster is. It lasts as long as the high lasts. But the moment the festival ends, the moment the rave dust settles, the moment the neurochemistry normalizes, the moment real life shows up, these friends disappear. And here's why. What we think of soul connection is usually just brain chemistry. It's a cocktail of oxytocins, dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, mirror-neurons syncing that make you feel like this is my tribe. They're my people. They're my family now. But it's not family. It's a state-dependent bond. Once the state ends, the bond dissolves. And that creates real heartbreak, real confusion, real wounds, real abandonment and trauma. People think that they're betrayed, but really, they were just high. The connection wasn't fake, but it also wasn't earned. Will talks about something he calls gate crashers, angels and moths. When communities create big ecstatic openings, people come in who are pure-hearted, people come who are seeking healing, and people that just come to siphon energy, sexual access, or spiritual power. Without boundaries, without trained leaderships, without conflict systems or ethical scaffolding, communities become vulnerable and people get hurt. Then there's the virtuous relationships, the ones we'll say that we should be cultivating. These relationships are not based on high. They're based on integrity, loyalty, honesty, accountability, shared values, emotional maturity, and actual ride or die commitments. These are the people who stay when the party ends, when the conflict comes, when the shadows show up, when the healing gets messy. These people don't disappear when the dopamine fades. They're the ones who will be beside you in the valley with you, not just on the mountain. And I want to say this clearly to the people who have been in my life to stay by me, not just because of the vibe, not just because of the festival high, but because you've seen me and you chose me. I love you. I honor you. You are my real brothers and sisters. Most people don't want to acknowledge the ethical cult problem. And I'm not talking about the extreme drink the Kool-Aid. I'm talking about the subtle, social, refined cult dynamics that form when communities elevate ecstatic states above grounded reality. This is where leaders get idolized, all because we confuse neurochemistry euphoria with moral ethics. Not just because someone could induce a peak state does not make them a leader, does not make them ethical, does not make them trauma informed, does not mean that they are qualified to guide human souls. And this is why I wrote my book, Harmonized Futures, because we cannot keep repeating the same broken patterns of untrained facilitators, unconscious power dynamics, state dependent friendships, trauma resentment, leader worshiping, shadow dynamics, and dopamine based bonding. I'm here to help guide people from the mountain to seek a culture that is unified. And underneath these patterns that keep repeating, we can build communities that are ethical, safe, resilient, and transformational, not just ecstatic. We need structure. We need standards. We need rites of passage. We need trained leaders, new systems of accountability. We need to continuously design with precision, not vibes, because structure is love. And without structure, people get hurt. And if we're serious about building a new world, if we're serious about healing, we're going to have to take things serious in conscious community. We need to stop confusing chemistry with maturity. We need to stop following these charismatic community leaders. We need to stop worshiping highs and start cultivating virtues. And we have to rebuild our culture internally with wisdom, with training, with accountability, and with the kind of leadership that actually knows how to hold human souls. That is the work. That is what I'm here for. That is why I wrote my book, Harmonizing Futures, to build a new world with clarity, integrity, and with heart.